Prince Harry speaking out in a really revealing new interview.
You didn't believe she was dead?
I just refused to accept that she was gone. Part of, she would never do this to us, but also part of, maybe this is all part of a plan. I think she would be sad. I think she'd be looking at it long term, to know that there are certain things that we need to go through to be able to heal the relationship.
Do you remember the popular tragic car crash that happened in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel?
Thursday marks 20 years since Princess Diana was killed in a car crash inside a Paris tunnel.
Yes, we're talking about the one that claimed the life of Princess Diana. Do you know the incident has been shrouded in mystery and speculation? Well, not anymore, as the truth has finally been revealed, and it has been all we have been suspecting about. Prince Harry's revelation about his mother, Princess Diana, has stunned the world. In an unexpected move, he confirmed the long-standing theories suggesting her tragic death was not an accident, but an orchestrated inside job.
Shocking allegations about Princess Diana's death. Authorities now reviewing the new and sensational claim that she was actually murdered by the British government.
This admission has sent shockwaves globally, igniting debates and discussions everywhere. Stay with us as we delve into one of the most heart-wrenching events in modern royal history: the impact of Prince Harry's revelation. The British royal family, already under intense scrutiny and criticism for various reasons over the years, is now faced with a new wave of skepticism and distrust, with the public and media frequently asking several questions such as, how far does the involvement of the establishment go, and to what length they would go to protect their interest? The idea that a member of the royal family could be targeted in such a manner by those living within the same circle is deeply unsettling if we're to be unbiased about it, and this act raises ethical and moral questions about the length power can corrupt.
With Prince Harry's tell-all memoir dominating headlines, it's hard not to wonder if the royals can survive the latest scathing attack.
However, Harry's revelation challenges the narrative that has been upheld for decades. The official story had initially provided a sense of closure, although it was a painful one to the millions of people who mourned the late Princess Diana. With Harry's new information, the public is forced to revisit and reassess their understanding of the events. It was a jarring experience, as many had come to terms with the tragedy based on the information that was previously available. Well, that was the case until recent times. Now they are confronted with the possibility that there was a deliberate and malicious intent behind the loss of a figure who was not only a royal icon, but also a humanitarian and a beloved public personality. But wait, there is more to Harry's revelation.
Prince Harry says he held on to hope that Princess Diana was secretly still alive long after her passing.
Harry's admission didn't just come at the cost of revealing the truth behind Princess Diana. He also used the medium to express concerns about his personal life and the struggles he has been going through within the royal family. Harry is known for his willingness to speak out. Harry has always been seen as a rebel, a person who is unafraid to challenge the status quo, especially his decision to break away from the royal family and relocate to the United States with his wife Meghan Markle was simply a clear indication of his desire to forge his path.
A royal reversal from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They are stepping back from senior roles in the royal family. Harry and Meghan say they will work to become financially independent.
From Harry's revelations, it is evident that his actions were driven not just by personal choice, but also by a deep-seated to uncover and confront the truth about his mother's death. Even though his relationship with the media is complex, Harry is looking to set things right. So what are the revelations about Princess Diana Harry seems to know about? And is this move the preferred option for Harry? Then pay attention if you care to know more. The world's reaction to Prince Harry's revelation has been one of shock and disbelief. The whole world is talking about it. Social media is in a frenzy state, with each user to their own opinion, debates, discussions, and expression of their outrage and sorrow. Princess Diana was loved by everyone, and when the news about her passing in that crash, it sent everyone into a cold state as they mourned her.
As dawn breaks on the day of Princess Diana's funeral, the crowds are already gathering on the streets of London. 20,000 extra policemen and women have been drafted in to monitor the crowds.
Prince Harry's statement could potentially prompt a reinvestigation into Princess Diana's death, and if those responsible are found wanting, the public isn't looking for this case to be taken lightly. We don't care how powerful or influential whoever is responsible for this may be. They can't go unpunished. One user said, "Princess Diana was an icon, admired and beloved by millions around the world. Her humanitarian work and compassionate nature endeared her to people far beyond the confines of the British Commonwealth. So the revelation about her death, being an orchestrated act and not an accident, will undoubtedly shock and dismay her global admirers, and can even lead to international calls for justice by countries with close ties to the British monarchy, such as Australia, Canada, and New Zealand." For historians and scholars, Prince Harry's admission opens up new avenues for research and analysis. The historic analysis surrounding Princess Diana's death will have to be reassessed in light of this new information. Researchers, investigators, journalists, media personnel, and the public might likely want to delve into this ongoing situation, which looks bad for the British royal family. It won't be news when researchers choose to delve into archives, conduct interviews, and re-examine existing evidence in attempts to piece together a more accurate and complete picture of the events leading up to her death.
We're taking photographs of her dying on the back seat, and then those photographs made their way back to news desks in this country.
This scholarly work will be crucial in separating facts from rumors and ensuring that the historical record reflects the truth. Most likely, educational institutions may incorporate this case into their curricula, as this revelation provides an opportunity to discuss critical themes such as justice, ethics, and overall power. So, don't be surprised when you come across this topic in perhaps one of your history or political science classes when your tutor decides to talk about the history of Princess Diana, the stories behind her death, and what led to it. Was it an accident, just as it has been painted, or was Prince Harry right when he brought it out open and to the public, claiming that her death was carefully planned and orchestrated?
Today's revelations may not add to the evidence, but certainly add to the intrigue. Her chilling prediction reads, "This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous."
However, it might seem you should put it at the back of your mind that you saw it first. Hence another reason why you should subscribe to our channels to always keep you posted and informed about trending topics. Now, back to our discussion. Prince Harry's journey is emblematic of a broader struggle for truth and justice. His guile to speak out, even though he is quite familiar with the consequences, highlights his integrity. Prince Harry's action will serve in history as a powerful example for others, encouraging them to stand up for what is right, even when is difficult or dangerous. At the end of the day, what matters is doing the right thing. And as for the royal family, the fallout from this revelation will be a significant challenge. The institution might need to navigate a complex and hostile landscape, trying to balance the need to protect members from within the royal family and safeguard their legacy. As for the relationship between Prince Harry and his family, well, it has already been strained, especially with the conflict going on between him and King Charles. With this new admission and revelation, it is impossible to avoid the fact that the entire royal family will likely face further challenges. Speaking of the conflict between Harry and King Charles,
King Charles is reportedly open to a truce with his estranged son, Prince Harry, after receiving what's been described as religious.
well, there's one find we have made, and we're sure it'll keep you watching. The next scene has the details. Prince Harry, revelation about King Charles. Prince Harry has revealed a shocking truth about his father, King Charles. These revelations from Harry were shared during a candid interview, have sparked intense debate, and shed new light on the complexity going on within the royal family. Prince Harry has been increasingly vocal ever since distancing himself from the royal family. In his interview, Harry didn't hold back when discussing his relationship with King Charles. He openly discussed the challenges he faced growing up, the difficulty he faced after his mother, Princess Diana, and how he has been under intense scrutiny and expectations, all because he was born from a royal cloth. Harry went into details, talking about the moments that strained their father-to-son relationship. One of the most shocking truths Harry revealed revolved around King Charles's approach to parenting and the emotional toll it took on him, especially after his mother's death. So, what exactly did King Charles do? And how severe was it that Harry had to delve into revealing it to the public? Shouldn't Harry have chosen to fix things internally? Let's find out Harry's reasons.
I love my father, I love my brother, I love my family. I always do. Nothing of what I've done in this book or otherwise has ever been any intention to harm them or hurt them.
In 1981, King Charles got married to Lady Diana. It was a memorable ceremony watched by millions all around the world, and it revolved solemnly around Lady Diana. Why? Well, Lady Diana had what we could refer to as being likable. Even without her status as a princess, people were always fond of her. And when her marriage to King Charles took place, the public couldn't hold themselves as they fell in love with the beautiful and seemingly perfect princess. The couple added to the joy of their marriage. In 3 years, they had 2 children, Prince Williams and Prince Harry. Unfortunately, within 5 years, the marriage, which was remembered as a memorable one, began to show signs of strain. What exactly prompted this? It seemed like Charles and Diana weren't that compatible after all, as it became increasingly apparent by their significant age difference of over a decade. Now that is a lot of age difference. But this isn't the first time we've witnessed marriage with such a huge difference. So why could this couple not move past this minor problem and look beyond age, focusing on their 2 kids? Charles was known for being reserved, while Diana is more spontaneous. So perhaps this could be another reason the pair were becoming incompatible as time went on. 5 years later, after their marriage, King Charles did the unthinkable. He went on and began an affair with Camilla Parker Bowles.
Charles and Camilla began their long affair in October 1972 after an evening out at the exclusive London club Annabelle's in the heart of Mayfair.
The bizarre thing is that the pair relationship has been in existence long before his marriage with Diana. It didn't take long for such a public figure like Charles and Diana to have their marital problems out in public. As the year came to an end, the media was all in their business. Questions were asked and fingers were pointed at Charles. If he knew he was still in love with Camilla, then why did he go ahead and get married to Diana, and even had 2 kids with her? This was all too much for Diana to bear. So in 1992, the pair separated. Despite the divorce, Charles and Diana agreed to share custody of their 2 sons, Prince Williams and Prince Harry. Unfortunately, on August 31 in 1997, Diana was killed in a car crash in Paris. For Charles, this was a difficult period, as he had to manage his grief while also supporting his sons. Both of them were young at that time. Prince Williams was just 15, while Prince Harry was just 12. When the news got out about Diana's death, It sent millions into a sorrow state. Over the years, Harry's relationship with his father has been marked by both closeness and tension, shaped by the tragedy of Diana's death and the indifference between him and Charles. Years later, Harry revealed a book, Spare.
Publishers say over 400,000 copies of Prince Harry's autobiography, Spare, have been sold across the UK in its first day.
The book revolved around Harry's personal life and his complicated relationship with his brother and father. The book title has a story behind it, and you'd be shocked to hear the reason. Let's find out why. The title Spare is a reference to a remark made by no other but King Charles himself to his late wife just after Harry's birth. Charles made a comment G-shut after Harry was born, saying, "Now you have given me an heir and a spare. My work is done." This comment from Charles was strictly due to his obsession of producing an heir to the throne, which oftentimes the second child are often seen as a backup. The memoir also addresses Harry's relationship with his father. Nothing unforgettable memories, where he felt unsupported. Despite his attempts to connect with his father, Harry often felt overshadowed by the remark placed on him as just being the child, which has since made Harry feel inferior and unimportant to his brother William. So, what do you think has King Charles contributed majorly to the decline and breaking down of the royal family? How about Diana's death? Do you still think it was an accident? Let us know. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. In a shocking turn of events, King Charles III has stepped down from his role as the monarch of the British royal family. This unprecedented move has sent shockwaves through the United Kingdom and around the world. Camilla, Queen Consort, has reportedly been deeply affected by this development, with sources close to the palace describing her as being in tears. This decision marks a significant moment in British history, altering the future of the monarchy in ways that were previously unimaginable. The announcement came after a series of private meetings within the royal family, leading to the king's official abdication. The news of King Charles III stepping down as the monarch of the British royal family has reverberated across the globe, marking a historic moment in the centuries-old institution. This decision, which has taken many by surprise, was made following a series of private discussions within the royal family. The gravity of the situation is evident, as sources close to Buckingham Palace have revealed that Queen Consort Camilla has been deeply moved by the decision, with reports indicating that she has been brought to tears by the turn of events. King Charles' decision to abdicate has not only shaken the foundations of the monarchy, but has also left the public and royal watchers in a state of disbelief. After years of waiting in the wings as the heir apparent, Charles ascended to the throne, following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. His reign, though short, has been marked by attempts to modernize the monarchy and address the changing dynamics of British society. However, his decision to step down comes as a significant departure from royal tradition, where abdications are rare and often carry considerable implications. In the days leading up to the announcement, there were whispers of tension and uncertainty within the royal household. Insiders have suggested that Charles faced mounting pressure, both from within the family and from external forces, to reconsider his role. The king's health, public opinion, and the future of the monarchy were reportedly central to these discussions. Despite the challenges, many believed that Charles would continue to fulfill his duties as monarch. However, the final decision to abdicate indicates the weight of the considerations he had to bear. Camilla, who has stood by Charles's side for decades, is said to have been particularly affected by the decision. As Queen Consort, she has faced her own share of public scrutiny and challenges. The prospect of Charles stepping down from the throne has added a personal dimension to the situation, amplifying the emotional toll it has taken on her. Those close to the couple have described Camilla as being visibly distressed, struggling to come to terms with the new reality of their lives. Her tears are a testament to the profound impact this decision has had on those within the royal circle. The implications of King Charles's abdication are vast and complex. For the royal family, it means a sudden shift in the line of succession, with Prince William now poised to take on the role of king sooner than anticipated. This change is likely to have far-reaching consequences for the monarchy, as William's vision for the future may differ significantly from that of his father. The British public, too, is grappling with the news as they come to terms with the idea of another transition in leadership so soon after the passing of Queen Elizabeth. Internationally, the decision has prompted reactions from world leaders and royal families across the globe. The British monarchy has long been a symbol of continuity and stability, and the abdication of a sitting monarch is a rare and significant event. Allies and observers alike are now closely watching the developments in the UK, seeking to understand the motivations behind Charles's decision and what it means for the future of one of the world's most well-known institutions. In the wake of the announcement, the media has been abuzz with speculation and analysis. Commentators are dissecting the potential reasons behind the king's abdication, from personal health concerns to the desire to pave the way for a younger generation of leadership. The role of public opinion cannot be ignored, as Charles's popularity has fluctuated over the years. Some have suggested that the king may have felt that stepping aside was in the best interest of the monarchy, allowing Prince William and his wife, Catherine, to take on more prominent roles. The abdication of King Charles III has thrown the royal family and the nation into a state of reflection and uncertainty. This decision, rooted in a complex mix of personal, familial, and public considerations, is unprecedented in the modern era. While the monarchy has weathered many storms, this particular event signifies a turning point that may redefine the future of the British royal institution. In the weeks leading up to the abdication, there were subtle signs that all was not well within the royal household. Close observers noted a shift in Charles's public demeanor. His appearances, once marked by a sense of duty and tradition, had become more subdued. Behind the palace walls, the weight of the crown seemed to be taking a toll on him. Although no official statements were made at the time, there were whispers of the king grappling with the demands of his role, compounded by concerns over his health and the increasingly complex political landscape in the UK. Reports have surfaced indicating that King Charles sought counsel from his closest advisors, including senior members of the royal family and trusted confidants. The discussions were said to be intense and fraught with emotion, as Charles weighed the responsibilities of his position against the realities of his personal circumstances. It is believed that he considered all possible outcomes, including the impact his decision would have on the monarchy, his family, and the nation. Ultimately, it seems that the king reached the conclusion that stepping down was the most responsible and dignified course of action. For Queen Consort Camilla, this period has been particularly challenging. Known for her resilience and quiet strength, she has always supported Charles through the ups and downs of public life. However, the prospect of him relinquishing the throne has reportedly shaken her deeply. Camilla's emotional response highlights the personal sacrifice and the human aspect of what is often seen as a purely institutional matter. The tears she has shed reflect not just her concern for Charles, but also the enormous changes they now face as a couple, transitioning from the roles they have both prepared for over many years. The royal family, now faced with the task of navigating this transition, is likely to undergo a period of internal realignment. Prince William, who has been steadily preparing for his future role as king, will now have to accelerate his readiness to assume the throne. William's ascension is expected to bring a new energy and direction to the monarchy, one that aligns with the expectations of a modern, diverse Britain. However, this transition will not be without its challenges. William will need to strike a delicate balance between honoring the traditions of the monarchy and embracing the progressive changes that many believe are necessary for its survival in the 21st century. As the nation processes this seismic shift, reactions have been mixed. There is a sense of sadness and nostalgia among those who have supported King Charles throughout his life, recognizing his dedication to his duties and his efforts to address contemporary issues such as climate change and social inequality. Yet, there is also a sense of cautious optimism as people look to the future with Prince William at the helm. The British public, while often critical of the monarchy, also holds a deep respect for its continuity and the symbolic role it plays in national identity. The coming months will be crucial in determining how this transition is received and what it means for the monarchy's relevance in a rapidly changing world. Internationally, King Charles's abdication has sparked a wide array of responses. Royal families across Europe have expressed their support and solidarity, recognizing the difficult decision Charles had to make. The bustling streets of Brick Lane fell silent for a moment as King Charles III stepped out of his sleek black Range Rover. The monarch, known for his reserved demeanor, was about to embark on an unexpected adventure that would set social media ablaze and capture the world's attention. As King Charles walked into the modest Bangladeshi restaurant, Gram Bangla, nobody expected what was to come next. What happened after King Charles walked into this foreign restaurant, and what did he do? Join us as we explore exactly what happened right after. King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla made an unexpected visit to Gram Bangla, a Bangladeshi restaurant on Brick Lane in East London, known for IBT's many curry houses and cultural diversity. On a February afternoon, the royal couple's arrival surprised both the patrons of the Bangladeshi place and the staff working there. King Charles, dressed in his characteristic suit, created a welcoming and approachable atmosphere that was different from what one would expect from royalty of his status. As he interacted with those in the restaurant, the initial shock of his presence quickly wore off among both diners and employees, turning into excitement among everybody present. What happened next would end up captivating the entire nation. King Charles, known for his reserved demeanor, engaged effortlessly with the restaurant staff and patrons. He exchanged pleasantries with the owner, Shams Uddin, who has been serving the community for over 2 decades. The king's actions at the venue showed a genuine interest in the restaurant's history and cuisine. The highlight of the visit came when the king, in a moment of spontaneity, as he approached the counter, had his eyes light up with curiosity. "What's that you're making?" he inquired, gesturing towards a blender in operation. The young server replied, "It's a mango lassi, Your Majesty." Taking an action that was as unplanned as it was surprising, Charles asked if he could try his hand at making one. The restaurant staff, too stunned to do anything but nod, watched as the King of England rolled up his sleeves and stepped behind the counter. The sight of the monarch performing this everyday task struck a chord with onlookers who captured the moment on their phones. As news of the royal visit spread, social media was quickly flooded with takes and opinions. Videos of King Charles making a mango lassi were being circulated widely, and they were accompanied by popular hashtags. The sight of the king taking part in such a mundane, everyday activity struck a chord with people around the world, as it showed a more personal glimpse of the king than his typical formal appearances would. What began as a brief stop on a tour of East London soon became a viral sensation. The visit to Gram Bangla had somehow revealed a different side of King Charles, one that was approachable, curious, and open to engaging with the many diverse cultures within the UK. People weighing in on this cultural exchange have held that the event came to symbolize a more modern and relatable British monarchy. The King's visit was part of a series of engagements in East London, aimed at shedding light on the area's cultural heritage and the contributions of its immigrant communities. A step beyond this, though, the King's moment at that restaurant went out of the way of what was expected and endeared him to many who learned of the interaction. The Mango Lassie moment in Brick Lane offered a glimpse into the personality of King Charles III, a man whose life has been shaped by duty, tradition, and a desire for relevance in the modern world. Born more than 7 decades back, Charles Philip Arthur George entered a world still recovering from the ravages of World War II. His upbringing was far from ordinary, marked by the weight of royal expectations and the scrutiny of public life. The King's childhood was a blend of privilege and pressure. Educated first by a governess, then at King Charles at Cheam and Gordonstown schools, before going to the Trinity College, Cambridge, he developed a deep appreciation for the arts, nature, and philosophy. These early influences would shape his future interests and causes. Despite the formal nature of his upbringing, those close to Charles have often spoken of his sensitive nature and keen intellect, saying he was known for being thoughtful and caring about nature. As the Prince of Wales, a title he held for over 6 decades, Charles carved out a unique role for himself. He founded the Prince's Trust in 1976, a charity that has since helped over 1 million young people. This initiative showcased Charles's commitment to social issues and his desire to make a tangible difference in people's lives. But that's not all. Charles's public image has been complex and often controversial. His marriage to Lady Diana Spencer in 1981 captivated the world, but the following breakdown of their relationship played out painfully in the public eye. The media scrutiny was intense, and Charles's reputation suffered. Yet, through these challenging times, he maintained his focus on his charitable work and environmental advocacy. Charles's passion for environmental causes has been a defining aspect of his public persona. Long before climate change became a mainstream concern, he was warning about the dangers of plastic pollution and the need for sustainable farming practices. He has put this into practice himself at his private residence, Highgrove House, which has a farm, the Duchy Home Farm, as part of the larger Highgrove estate, which includes extensive gardens and farmland. The Duchy Home Farm is fully organic, with organic farming being a stance that King Charles has taken since the 1980s, long before organic farming became much more mainstream. The farm constantly uses sustainable farming practices, avoiding synthetic chemicals, proof that King Charles doesn't just talk, he puts his money, or his farmland, where his mouth is. King Charles has also shown himself to be very interested in different cultures and religions. He is known, for instance, to like learning about art and architecture from around the world. As an example, he has shown interest in Islamic art on multiple occasions, having visited many Muslim countries. In 2022, King Charles visited a Sikh temple, the Guru Nanak Darbar Gurdwara in Luton, and joined in their customs in an unprecedented show of support and appreciation for a different culture than his. He's also been to Japan 5 times in the last several years, including visiting to witness the enthronement of the current Emperor of Japan, Emperor Naruhito, all the way back in 2019 as the Prince of Wales. All along, King Charles has shown interest in not just Japanese culture, but the full breadth of the diverse cultures that make up the United Kingdom. This cultural sensitivity was evident in his visit to the Bangladeshi restaurant in Brick Lane, where he engaged respectfully with the staff and patrons. The passing of Queen Elizabeth II on September 8, 2022, marked the end of an era and the beginning of King Charles III's reign. The transition, while expected, was nonetheless a major shift in the British monarchy and the national psyche. Charles, at 73, became the oldest person to ascend to the British throne, bringing with him a lifetime of experience and a clear vision for his role as monarch. The early days of Charles's reign were marked by a delicate balance between mourning and duty. His first address to the nation as king struck a tone of continuity and reassurance, acknowledging the profound loss of his mother while also affirming his commitment to serve. This speech set the stage for a reign that would honor tradition while cautiously embracing necessary changes. When Queen Elizabeth died, Charles became King Charles III. This was a big change for him and for the country. People wondered how he would be different from his mother, who had been queen for 70 years. Public expectations of King Charles vary. There was a desire for him to maintain the steadfast presence that characterized his mother's long reign, providing stability in uncertain times. But then there was also an anticipation that he would bring his own passions and perspectives to the role, particularly in areas such as environmental sustainability and interfaith dialogue. The challenge of modernizing the monarchy while preserving the essence of it is perhaps the most significant challenge facing King Charles. Early indications suggest a more streamlined royal family with fewer working royals and a focus on core responsibilities. This approach aligns with public demands and the financial considerations his subjects may have, especially after the great pandemic. But that's not even half of it. Since becoming king, Charles has adopted a much more public-friendly stance in Britain that was starting to question the continued need for a monarchy. He always manages to appear more relaxed and friendly in these public outings than he used to, suggesting that he's recognized the work he has to do and has adapted to do it well. Some of the king's major public outings since his coronation include the very first Christmas speech he gave as king in 2022, where people turned out to be pleased that the king had addressed everyday issues faced by the average UK citizen. At his coronation in 2023, the typically traditional event had a new face, with multiple elements of modern culture included in it. These elements ranged from more recent music scores commissioned from modern composers to extensive digital and social media coverage. For the first time also, there were leaders of other faiths who played a significant role in the coronation ceremony, just as there was the unprecedented presence of female clergy, including the Right Reverend Sarah Mullally, the Bishop of London, who gave a sermon at the event, something only made possible by the Church of England's acceptance of female bishops into the fold in 2014. King Charles also made time in his busy schedule to King Charles's visit Northern Ireland in May of 2023, an action that sent strong, reassuring messages to the people that the king has no intention of ignoring any part or section of the United Kingdom whatsoever. Each time King Charles has appeared in public, the people seem to like him more, viewing him as a caring monarch who is interested in their lives. This marks a different view of him by the public when compared to how a lot of UK citizens saw him before he became king. King Charles's impromptu visit to Gram Bangla carries some extraordinary cultural significance that goes far beyond a simple culinary adventure. For years, the United Kingdom has prided itself on being a multicultural society, but in recent years, tensions have been increasing between various cultural groups. Not only has there been a notable increase in reports of hate speech targeting certain minorities, social media has inflamed the situation even more, amplifying divisive voices within the country. As the UK battles with questions surrounding immigration and national identity and the place of individuals of foreign cultures within UK society, certain movements have attempted to frame the UK's long-standing multiculturalism as its #1 problem. The problem with this is that the increased tension between cultural groups can lead to a breakdown of community relations and social trust. Not just that, having a reputation for not being tolerant can reduce the attractiveness of the UK to international talent and investment, particularly when strained relations with minority groups lead to similar strained relationships with their countries of origin. This is why King Charles's actions, despite being so simple, are so important. His unique role as monarch in the UK system of government might not make him the head of government, but it does make him exceptionally suited for maintaining diplomatic relations, something traditionally done through state visits and cultural exchanges, but which the king obviously intends to modernize. While Queen Elizabeth's reign featured a more formal approach to public engagement that leaned towards being distant and having tight schedules, her son is clearly more in tune with the realities of the world he now finds himself in as monarch. Without a doubt, Charles has stepped into his own as a king. What remains to see is the impact of his reign on the United Kingdom. What do you think of King Charles's visit to the Bangladeshi restaurant? Was it really genuine? And how will that affect the rest of King Charles's reign? Let us know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video on your screen. You will enjoy it. The driver of Princess Diana, finally breaking his silence, shared chilling details live on TV that shook the world.
I had to turn away, think about it, and then grip myself back and get on with what I was doing.
Princess Diana's untimely and unusual injury, a mystery that has haunted us all, was revealed to be the cause of her tragic death.
She was talking and they were worried about other people, and it was only later that she had a very unusual injury.
I just felt that it was appearing every day in newspapers and various things, and I was listening to people, and that was an emotional day on the day that she...
Imagine the driver's shock, hearing of the princess's horrific accident while he was in the comfort of his bed.
You got the phone call, and
Yes, I can, vividly.
What was it like? Where were you? And
I was in bed with my wife, and she answered the phone. I had a bit of banter with the guy on the other end, and then she looked round at me and said, "I think you better get up and sit on the end of the bed and take this phone call."
His colleague relayed to him with a grave tone that the princess had sustained severe injuries as a result of an unfortunate accident.
And it was a colleague from Balmoral who was telling me that Her Royal Highness was actually injured. And put the television on and you'll see. So that's what I did. You know, it was a bit of a shock. Got dressed and then went down to Kensington Palace.
Summoned to the palace after the accident, he recounted the surreal and heart-wrenching experience of being thrust into a tragedy.
Yes, it was quite difficult because Robin Cook, who was then the Foreign Secretary, was on the television giving what had happened. And he was explaining that she was injured. when in fact the private secretary, Michael, was telling the 6 of us in the office that sadly she'd.
When he landed in Paris, the atmosphere was thick with tension and sorrow, a city mourning the loss of a beloved icon.
Yeah, so 24 hours was quite difficult. Getting to Paris was fine. Getting to the embassy was great, except I didn't speak French. My wife speaks it fluently, which a phone helped. And I knew one of the military attachés, Brigadier Ritchie, who immediately came into the room, and he used to work with Princess Anne.
The hospital was flooded with people desperate to know the princess's condition, a testament to her global impact.
So I was taken in to help, where I went to the hotel, and then I went to the hospital and arrived at the hospital. Lots of people about, on I think it was the first floor, and there was a lot of people.
The driver, maintaining his professionalism amid the chaos, felt the weight of the world's grief and disbelief.
Yes, I mean, I was an ex-inspector, but I did say that perhaps people are expecting lords, ladies and colonels in this in this particular instance. But we were dealt with by Sir Michael J. very, very well, and given everything that I needed, I was given.
He described the emotional torment of seeing Princess Diana in a hospital bed, a stark contrast to her usual radiant presence.
It's very difficult and emotional to see a person lying in a bed and not in a mortuary. And when I was in the room, which was very, very hot, I looked out of the window and I could see people on a roof. Now, whether they knew where the princess was, I don't know, but that worried me. So I got some blankets because there was no curtains, and we put blankets along the windows, which made it even hotter in the room. And I then went and got some fans to try and cool the room down. And that one moment in my life, which perhaps my professionalism was lacking a little bit, because as I turned round, the eyelashes and the hair of the princess were moving, caused by the fan. And that just struck me. I had to turn away, think about it, and then grip myself back and get on with what I was doing.
You didn't believe she would?
For a long time. I just refused to accept that she was gone. Part of, she would never do this to us, but also part of, maybe this is all part of a plan.
I mean, you really believe that maybe she had just decided to disappear for a time?
For a time, and then that she would call us and we would go and join her. Yeah.
How long did you believe that?
Years. Many, many years. And William and I talked about it as well. Mainly proof that she was in the car, proof that she was injured, and proof that the very paparazzi that chased her into the tunnel were the ones that were taking photographs of her lying half on the backseat of the car.
You write, I hadn't been aware before this moment, talking about looking at the pictures of the crash scene, that the last thing Mummy saw on this earth was a flashbulb. That's what you saw in the pictures.
The pictures showed the reflection of a group of photographers taking photographs through the window, and the reflection of the window was them.
Conspiracy theories swirled around the accident, each more sinister than the last, demanding thorough investigation.
I wasn't involved in the first examination, and of course she was then buried, so we didn't exhume her and have another look, but it was a review of all of the circumstances. There were so many conspiracy theories that needed to be looked at and properly examined. They were sort of glossed over a bit to begin with. So we went back and we did that. And so I looked obviously at the pathology, not just of Diana, but also of Henri Paul, who was the driver, and Dodie, who was her lover, and a guy called Trevor Rees-Jones, who was a security guard. So 4 people in that Mercedes. Now, if you have a crash at about 60 miles an hour in a Mercedes, you should walk away. And the thing I learned was that you put your seatbelt on, because Diana didn't have a seatbelt on, Dodie didn't have a seatbelt on, Henri Paul, the driver, didn't have a seatbelt on. Trevor Rees-Jones realised something was going wrong and just got his seatbelt on in time, because he lived to tell the tale. And when the car hit the bridge pillar, interestingly, the 13th pillar on the bridge, I mean, it adds to the conspiracy, doesn't it? It's got to be the 13th pillar. How the SAS managed to get them to hit the 13th pillar, I don't know. But, when they hit the pillar, Dodie hit the back of Henri Paul with a weight of about 3 elephants. And then Henri Paul hit the steering wheel. They were instantly. Diana wasn't badly injured. She'd broken an arm and had a couple of other little injuries. But I mean, she should have survived, and she was partly protected by Rhys Jones because she hit the back of his seat and was saved a bit. And in fact, when they arrived, they thought she was okay. She was talking, and they were worried about other people. And it was only later that she had a very unusual injury deep in the center of her chest that no one knew was there. And when she became ill and collapsed, it was at that point it became too late, and she after surgery.
Despite her royal status, the driver fondly remembered Princess Diana's tremendous sense of humor, a light in the darkness.
There is a line. You don't cross that line. You speak to when you're spoken to. And it is still very correct. She was still very royal. And yes, we were often together in the car, and it would be light conversation. She had a tremendous sense of humor. And wherever we went, I never had a crossword in the 2 years. Not one crossword. I think they went in too fast, but in the inquest, that was sorted out. I've driven through the tunnel myself. There are stanchions in the tunnel, which if you can be taken a little bit by, if you're at two trains in a station, one moves out, you think you're moving. You go into fast where there's stanchions, it's getting a little bit worrying.